Tonight we've got a campsite overlooking the Alaskan wilderness up here on this hillside, and we are actually also back behind us here over the hillside, back that way towards the main road, Route 1. There's a gravel pit we came through, and the gravel pit is something that told me about the other day when I met her along the road, the school teacher from Michigan. But yeah, so she told me about the gravel pit and approximately where it was. I think she said it was like 30 miles out of Glen Allen, and but it was more like around 40, I think. But still, either way, and she might have said 40. I don't know. But anyhow, yeah. Thankfully, I found it real easy and came up in here, and there's nobody else here. And we just came up on the hillside and found this cool site here. Like I said, overlooking the, if you call that a valley or really, I don't know if it's a valley. Again, we're just higher up, kind of up on a hill or a mountain. I don't know if it's quite a mountain, but anyhow. But 170.4 miles today. Didn't leave that area down there till about a quarter till 4 after riding out of town just a little ways and going out to the hatchery, out to the Solomon Gulch hatchery, and we're on the right side of the road on the bay side. Saw some bald eagles, a number of bald eagles out there, so that was really cool. And then the hatchery was it was a neat area, but there was really nothing going on as far as salmon or anything right now. They had all these I don't know if you call them stallways or whatever, that maybe when it's full on spawning time, there's probably there's water in them, and then there's there'd be fish, of course, but they were empty. They were dry as well. It didn't have water in them. But still, just a neat thing to see. And I think it said it was the maybe the world's largest salmon hatchery, like wild salmon hatchery or something like that. I should check that. I took a picture, a still shot of the sign. But that, and again, the bear, the brown bear that the grizzly that I got footage of going and coming. And so yeah, that was super cool. Let's see, spend a lot of time in the coffee shop again today, charging my stuff and drinking coffee. Again, did it in this morning before the church service, and then did it again after I ate that brunch of champions there at the dockside. And also, that's the same thing. I had a bunch of leftovers. I had the same thing again tonight, and that was what that was deviled egg potato salad. And I had bought a bag of pepperoni minis, and I kind of did a layer of pepperoni minis over top of it on the potato salad. And then I had had the Pringles and that key lime colossal cake, which was amazing. It was delicious. Love key lime. So yeah, I had it for, like I said, brunch. That was my breakfast of champions, and then again, dinner of champions tonight. And folks, I just want to say, you've seen me eat a lot of junk, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's been a part of this, but and I do. I eat too much of it at home too, but out here I'm eating it every day. And this is the real world. This is as real as it gets, of course, but it's not the normal world, and I do not intend to keep eating like this. But out here it is convenient. So anyhow, yeah. Let's see. Also, yeah, there when I had finished that eating there dockside this morning or early afternoon, whatever that was. I met these folks on a couple BMWs, venture bikes, from Colorado, Jan and Alden, neat couple. And both, they had rented their bikes. I take it back home they have bikes, or at least I know he said something about his bike. But for her to be up here riding that bike like she is, and they've been up to Prudhoe Bay and all that. So for them to do stuff like that, I'm sure she rides back home. She's no, she's no beginner rider, and she was a little woman. And it's just so impressive. I mean, she's riding, I think the bike she had, that BMW, was a 700 or 750, and he was on maybe an 850. And she said she's got to step up on the pegs to get on it. And then also to get it upright to go, he has to, help her, he has to stand it upright for her so she can take off, I guess. And I think that's just so neat, though, that, again, they ride together, and that, she's, she's a tough gal, man, to ride that big old bike and to not mind the obstacles of, because I would be so, just apprehensive, just because she was talking about how top heavy it is. And yeah, I'm sure it is. And again, especially for her size. So yeah, I just can't imagine. But yeah, good for her and him. And just, it's great to meet you guys. And they have some friends from Ireland that were flying in or something. So I think their riding was going to be a little more limited. Not that they haven't already done a lot, but they're going to hang out with their friends from Ireland. So that was pretty cool too. So I hope you guys have a great time, and great meeting you all. Let's see, who else? Oh, a couple more things. Yeah, when I first came into Alaska the other day, and I stopped at Tetlin at the wildlife refuge, what they call it. Again, I always got to keep checking my sticker here. The National Wildlife Refuge, Tetlin, when I just came into Alaska. And I stopped there. I met another guy, also on a BMW. But the dude was from New Zealand, and his name was Trevor. And Trevor was a neat guy, had a big old strong accent, which I like. But he was telling me, when I told him my name, Kevin, he said that Kevin is what his mom used to call him when he was a kid, when he was in trouble. And I was like, and I'm like, is it your middle name? And it's not his middle name either. She just, for some reason, came up with Kevin when he was in trouble. That's what she would call him. So I thought that was kind of cool, or kind of different. But he was a neat guy. But yeah, he's I guess flown over here, and actually too, I don't think he's written. I believe he's actually had his bike shipped, and I'm thinking, I could be wrong, he might have started. I know he talked about riding around Vancouver Island and how neat that was. But so anyhow, yeah, I think I wouldn't doubt if he didn't start down around Seattle, something like that. But he's up here now. Let's see, so that's Trevor. Trying to think if there was anybody else I met today. Oh, I met a guy named Tom from Minnesota, who he's ridden up here before. He said what year it was. It's been a while. Well, you know what? His wife walked up too. I think it was back in 20 or 21. And yeah, she was just talking about how much it's changed since then. And I can imagine. I said 20 or 21, back in 2000 or 2001. Sorry. But anyhow, it's been like 20 years, and yeah, I bet it has changed a lot in 20 years. But evidently they've rode then, and now they're up here on a cruise. There's that Viking cruise ship, they're in port today, and that's they were on that, I guess. That's the only cruise ship that was there. It might be the only one I've seen on this trip. I don't remember. Well, yeah, I haven't been to that many ports. But so that campsite that I was showing last night there by the water, here comes the Goofy. Yeah, you would not, you would believe. Again, that was close to the water, and that is the bay, which is the ocean, and it does have a tide. So needless to say, I was scrambling. To get my stuff and get up. I was actually walking through water, little portions of water up to where it's a little higher, to where it hadn't quite reached the bike and the tent yet. But I had to carry, didn't take the tent down or nothing. Had the sleeping bag in it. I had to carry it a good ways up to where I actually ended up settling and camping. First, I got everything like safe. I kept like moving it in stages, getting it further away. And then even when I got on the bike to ride out of there, I rode through water. It was it was unreal. I couldn't believe it came in so quick. I was sitting down by the water just reading and just kind of hanging out and taking pictures and you know and I saw it was coming up, kind of more like in this one particular spot, like a low spot, like a little river was forming almost, but it seemed like all of a sudden it just came in quick. And yeah, like I said, I was scrambling. So I ended up, by the time it was all said and done, I carried the stuff up to this main like gravel road that I was off of. And there was a low spot down into there, that flat spot where I was. So I got it up on that higher spot up onto the main gravel road to where, you know, I knew it wasn't going to come up that high. But then from there, I still went, you know, a couple hundred yards further up the road. I didn't want to camp like right there on that gravel road, but I got up to where the intersection of another gravel road, and there's a stop sign, and just right there in kind of that edge, that corner there, I pitched the tent and camped right there. Well, I shouldn't say I pitched the tent. I set the tent down and camped right there. So yeah, it was a part of the adventure, just something, you know, wild that I would have never expected to happen. But that is what happens with the ocean. It does, the tide does rise and fall, which I knew that, but I sure didn't expect it to happen there, because it really didn't look like a, you know, there's a lot of, there was just, you know, like the grass and the weeds and all that. And to me, it did not look like a place that water came up into at all. Because I've seen, you know, tidal areas, and, you know, I think they look pretty barren when the water's out, with my, I guess, limited ocean experience. But that has been my experience. But now you live and learn, all part of the adventure. That, and two, is one of them things I had, because that gravel road and all that, there was people like driving by and stuff, driving back in there, I think probably just coming down to the water and just kind of something to do. It was a Saturday night. There was some knucklehead in a big 4-wheel drive truck went by me, and you could tell he was purposefully revving it, you know, as he went by. And then even a little bit later, he came back by, and he turned around like basically right next to the tent. Kind of turned down in there, or really didn't have to turn down in there. Again, I was up against, you know, the other road, but he kind of turned, you know, where I was and just did a circle and then went down the road and left. But, you know, revving the truck, of course, and all. So, you know, whatever. Hope he's okay though. That's, you know, that's somebody, you know, clearly with issues. So I certainly hope and pray he's okay and he gets his act together. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it. I don't know if you can see them. I am being swarmed. I'm going to say these are black flies or big old giant gnats. I mean, they're bigger than the gnats I'm used to, but this is Alaska. But the reason I second guess black flies is because they're hardly touching me. I'm not being eaten up. I'm just being swarmed. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't think I've got anything else. Again, if I do, think of it later. I'm not coming back tonight. Lord willing, it'll be in a post tomorrow or whenever I do remember it. So I did talk to my woman today, which was good. Talked to my Uncle James, as today was the first time I've talked to my Uncle James since I've been on the trip. So it was really good talking to him for, you know, a good little while too. But again, he is, that dude has done some traveling with me. And I was going to mention that, something about one of our trips earlier, but something to do with Glacier. Oh, again, I guess it was the bear thing. You know, saying today was my first closer encounter with a grizzly. And, you know, here recently I did that post where I was talking about the bear that I've seen, you know, and stuff. There was one time in Glacier that there was we believe was a bear way off in the hillside. And if I already said this, I apologize. But just way, way off in the hillside in the distance, which we thought that would have been a grizzly. I mean, if it truly was a bear, you know, versus a bush or something. But if I would ever think about it, you know, to ask Uncle James and Dad, and I'm thinking my brother John might have been on that trip with us. That might have been our second time to Glacier, and John was with us on the second trip. But anyhow, yeah, I just kind of wonder if they remember, and if that was I mean, if that truly was a bear, if we did see movement. But either way, you know, if that was a grizzly, that was years ago, and like I said, it was so far that I can, you know, barely recollect or remember if it truly was or not. So the one I saw today was clearly a grizzly, and absolutely amazing. Not the biggest grizz, but a grizz. You know, either way, and such a blessing to see. So that's 4 black bear now, and the one grizzly, and 2. Speaking of wildlife, I just remember when I was coming down to when I just turned there from Glen Allen, heading down towards Valdez the other evening. Was it 2 nights ago? I guess it was. Yeah. There was a cow. There was a big cow moose and a calf up pretty close to the road, just kind of standing, you know, just off from the road there, next to the road, feeding. So that was neat to see. That's the first moose I've seen on this trip. Thinking about it, I'm almost trying to remember if I'd already mentioned that. I don't remember. But so just a blessed Sunday. It's July 10th. And again, we're just in the back country. I guess this is back country of Alaska. I mean, most of it's back country, I think. I mean, unless you're in town, it's back country. And some of these towns are so little, you know, they're in back country. But anyhow, we're between, like I said, about 40 miles out of Glen Allen, and maybe about 150 some from Anchorage. So we're on the road to Anchorage, off the road, on the road. So that's all I got.